At the dawn of the 20th century, the Muslim world stood weakened and fragmented. For centuries, Muslim scholars, rulers, and intellectuals had envisioned a future free from colonial rule. But their hopes were dashed as the crafty hands of imperial powers plotted in secret to divide and conquer the heartlands of Islam. In 1916, a sinister pact was forged in the shadows, an agreement that would leave an indelible scar on the map of the Middle East, the infamous Sykes-Picot Agreement. Signed by Britain, France, and Tsarist Russia, this secret deal carved out spheres of influence in the weakening Ottoman Empire, effectively balkanizing the region and setting the stage for modern conflicts. As the guns of World War I roared, the sick man of the East, as the Ottoman Empire was known, was seen as the prize. The victorious allies sought to divide the spoils, ignoring the diversity and complexities of the region and its people. This was the tragic starting point of a tumultuous journey. In 1917, British forces entered Baghdad, raising the Union Jack in what they called liberation. But the smiles of triumph concealed a bitter pill. From the heart of the city, General Stanley Maude declared, "We come as liberators, not conquerors." Yet the guns spoke louder than words. It was clear Baghdad had fallen under a new occupation. Further north, the French had designs on Damascus. After defeating the last stand at the Battle of Maysalun in 1920, French forces marched into Damascus, led by General Henri Gouraud. They too claimed to be liberators, but the Syrian people saw through the facade. Yusuf al-Azma, the Syrian Minister of War, refused to let the French enter the capital without resistance. He fell in battle, a martyr, while Damascus was left to weep under the shadow of French colonial banners. But the people did not remain silent. Across the region, the flames of resistance flickered. In Iraq, the great Iraqi Revolution of 1920, known as the Thawrat al-Ishrin, Sunni and Shia tribes united in defiance of the British occupation. Armed with little more than outdated rifles, they rose up against armored trains and airstrikes. It was a heroic but tragic revolt, ultimately betrayed by political deals and crushed by imperial force. The British installed Faisal ibn al-Hussein as King of Iraq, an Arab crown on a colonial foundation. In North Africa, the story was much the same. Emir Abdelkader of Algeria, in the mid-19th century, led a valiant struggle against the French invasion. He built a structured state, an organized army, and a unified resistance that shook the colonizers. But he, too, was betrayed. Surrounded by European alliances and encirclement, his struggle was subdued. Yet despite the setbacks, the spirit of resistance continued to burn. The events leading up to and following Sykes-Picot unveiled the true face of colonial ambition, where promises of freedom were chains of occupation, where the cries for independence were drowned out by the roar of tanks and artillery. It was a betrayal of trust on a grand scale, a theft of a people's birthright. Through bullets and backroom deals, Baghdad was taken, Damascus fell, revolutions were betrayed, and the dream of unity faded. A once connected Ummah was reduced to lines on colonial maps, drawn not by the hands of its people, but by the pens of Sykes, Picot, and Balfour.